Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is the second part of Airfix's Refueling set, Scale 176. Now this part is for the AEC Matador. I've already shown you the QL tanker, so I'm going on to the second one now. So I'll quickly go through the contents again. Basically it's the same intro as the last one because it's all into one kit, but it's just a quick recap. The kit, how it's packaged, is very poor. As you can see, it's all in one bag. The labelling on the sprues and that are not really brilliant. It was very difficult to make out which parts. And indeed, when I started the build, I actually painted the tankers in the opposite colours than I should have done. So the AEC Matador should have been in a sort of rust colour. I painted it in a two-tone colour, and the QL tanker should have been the two-tone colour, and I painted it in the rust colour. If that sounds confusing, you'll see at the end they are the opposite colours. Now, I did think about changing them when I noticed the mistake, but I decided just to leave them and stick with what I've got. So let's jump into the other tanker build and see how this goes. I'm painting in the block colours on the cab, so I'm using Humbrol's 96 RAF blue. You'll notice on the sprue that the seats are already painted because I painted them when I was doing the other tanker as well, and they're painted in a flat black. I used 33 Humbrol for that. For the top of the cab, it's 24 Trainer Yellow by Humbrol. Now, so the blue and the yellow are the two main colours. That's going to be the two main tone colours. So I won't bother repeating them all the time, just so that you know what colours I'm actually using. And remember, this is actually the wrong colours. They should all actually be in the rust colour, but because of my mistake. Now, the frame or the flatbed part is made up very similar to the QL, so I'm not really going to go into it too much detail. You've seen one, basically you've seen them all for this kit. The tyres and wheels are painted in Humbrol 85 coal black, and the hubcap is 11 silver. Again, much the same with the QL truck, but the red colour has been, the rust colour has been changed to the silver. So you can see there the drive shafts going in with the axles. I've already put on the tankers and I'm just fitting the suspension leaves now. Once those little sub-assembly parts are done, I'm placing them onto the frame. Little location points on the frame so that you know exactly where to fit the axles and so on. So it's fairly easy to construct. The last axle's going in now. The only thing to remember here is when you're putting the drive shaft in with it, make sure it's got a clear path to the actual box that it's going to be fitting into. There is little location points for this to sit into, but it does go down at an angle, and it may look like slightly off, but it isn't. It's just how it's meant to be. Now, I've decided to change the colour of the hubcap to the RAF blue. I just thought it would look better than the silver. The silver just looked too new, so it was better in keeping with the tanker. So now it's on to the assembly of the cab. First of all, the radiator goes on. The steering wheel and steering column get made up separately. Each thing gets fitted into the base of the cab. There's a tiny little location point for everything to sit in. Central part's fitted where the gear stick is before fitting the seats. Now these seats are just basically a block plastic seat. They go right onto the back part of the cab, but I decided to fit them onto the actual base first before putting the back plate on. This is contrary to the instructions. This was just to ensure that I got a better fit. And once they were in place, it was time to put on the back part itself. I'm glad I did done it the way that I did instead of fitting it onto the back plate, because they may have not fitted properly, but at least once they're on the footwell as such, they go on quite easily then. So after a bit of dry fitting, I was happy enough to proceed with the build. The sides of the cab, side doors, they were a little bit more tricky to fit than the QL cab. They go at a slight angle, just the nature of the mould and the shape of the tanker itself. Like with the your tanker, it's better to do this and not leave it to be completely dry before you fit all the other parts on it, because you may need to just slightly squeeze everything into position. As you can see there, I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting everything lined up. It's just the nature of it. So make sure it's not completely set before you go into each one, and that way you'll be able to maneuver everything into position. So once I lined up the front to go on, then I was able just to draw everything in so all connected. And if you've got it square, then the top just sits without any problem. Painting the frame, so it's a Humbrol 33 matte black, exactly the same as the other tanker. Yeah, I can put in different colours and paint it into great detail, but I just decided to do the block colours. However, I decided to use Humbrol's 11 Silver for the canisters at the side, just to give it a bit of contrast. So now it's time to fit the wheels, and these just push on without any issues. And then it's time to make up the tanker. Now there's a little insert bulkhead that you place in before you put the two halves together. Now I'm having this one close up, the other one I left open. I put the doors in the open position. I don't know if camera for some reason. But anyway, this one is getting closed up, so there's no need to paint any of the inside. I haven't painted the end part of the tanker itself because I wasn't sure on the line from the yellow to the blue. So only once it was in position, I was able to determine what the line would be. Unlike the doors themselves, because they had a natural line, I was able to paint that without worrying about it matching up to the tanker. Once everything was set, it was time to paint the end part, and as you can see, that was just a simple process. Next to go on are the mud guards. Now, I found it quite difficult to get them attached. The actual location points are two very small prongs just above the wheels. There is a location area for it on the frame, but because there's such a small area, it was quite difficult to get them settled in. And you can't really put the tanker on until these are in position. So you can't use the tanker as a guide. I'm using Humbrol 53 gunmetal to paint the radiator grid at the front. I almost forgot to do this. You know, it's no biggie because it's a simple paint job, but generally I like to paint these before I attach them. So back to the tanker, and there's not much goes on to this tanker at the top, but the bottom part has the brackets going on the tanker instead of the actual framework itself. While they're setting, it's time to put on the cab, and it just fits over the wheels quite nicely. It's a really good fit, this. And it's back to the tanker. There's two strips that go along the top of the tanker here. I'm not exactly sure what these are for, but they're quite wide beams. There must be some sort of platform, extra platform or something. But once both of them are on, I can then fit the tanker to the main bed itself. Just a little bit of cement on the actual brackets underneath, and it just slides in there. You may have to jiggle it around a little bit just to get it straight, but that's just the nature how it goes on. It shouldn't cause you any difficulty, really. And all it's left to do is to fit the ladder that goes up the side of the tanker. And this is where I'll end the build. So again, this was a really quick build. In fact, from the two aircraft to the two tankers, each one took a day, or like 4 to 5 hours. They don't take long to build at all, which makes them excellent for dioramas, as well as the size as well. I mean, obviously this set was purposely designed to go together for a diorama anyway. You know, so if you're looking for something like this, you know, there's something to be considered buying these little sets. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with these builds, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.